Oh, welcome back my gardening friends to what I'm going to be up to in the month of July, or what I hope to be doing. So let's pop into the fruit cage, and I'm keeping an eye on all the fruit now. Some of the blueberries are turning, some of the black currants are looking exceptionally nice. Not quite ready yet, so we'll keep an eye on those and we'll take them as we need them. The red currants are now turning, so we just need to keep an eye on those. We don't want them to spoil. The birds won't get them in here, he says. The red gooseberries doing really well. Excuse me. But some of them have got the markings on them. Is that some sort of... Don't speak while my mouth's full. Is that because they're... Well, you tell me guys, there's something wrong with that. I don't want to eat it. But there's quite a few on this bush, especially where they're contained. Now we've got the goblet shape, but it's just getting a mishmash everywhere else. So I think they've got some sort of fungal infection or something. These are the summer fruiting raspberries. There's the new shoots there, and there's again absolutely loads on here. They're a darker raspberry, but still very tasty. Excuse me. That must be a green gooseberry. I do like these red ones. They're very, very sweet and delicious. And the blueberries have done really well this year. But as we've said in a previous video, because I've took the central supports out, I thought they'd be alright without it, but I was completely wrong. Every year we always lose a few black currants to the floor, and every year this is covered in them. I've thinned them out, I've started watering them, and I'm hoping to take a couple of plants to try and grow on. I know it's probably just as easy to take it from the main stem, but I like to give things a chance to grow. As with most vegetables, some you can keep taking leaves and they'll keep growing, so we continue to do that. We're continually throughout this month again looking out for the beet leaf miner. I've had a good search through. Beetroots and chard will stand having some of the leaves took off. Look at those, the leaves are looking quite good. And also keeping an eye out to see whether we've got any beans ready. Yeah, 1 minute you've got nothing. That's too small to take at the moment. And then you've got some that you think they weren't ready the other day, but they're ready now. You know what's going to happen, don't you guys? Excuse me. And Bill and Val's Pongo beans, they're coming through. Flowers are absolutely gorgeous. So I'll be keeping an eye on those. A few days and they'll be past their best. Successional sowing. I'm getting a little bit better, but these carrots shouldn't be here. They should be more in the shade. They dry out far too quickly. Radishes have done well. I've took 3 lots off that, and I think I've completely fried the spring onions. And there's the seed heads on the red onions. Something's been eating the giant cabbages in this cage, so I'm going to leave those 2 there as spares and let these red cabbages grow on in the street lamp covers. These are Bill and Val's peas, and I'm definitely going to save some of these seed. The pods are a lot bigger than the ordinary pods, but the peas are so much sweeter. So this row of peas here, and all these, they cost me £1.20 in seed from the allotment shop. They're all close sown, as you've seen in the guttering, and by the look of it now, I'm going to have to take nearly all these off. End up with quite a nice harvest on there, so tonight I'll be shelling those. The long runner beans, they're still setting okay. This variety isn't doing as well, but we're still getting quite a few set. So this variety is the Starlet. So we've got 4 varieties here, and I'm pleased with all 3. These are from the save seed from Dawn Ann Blakey. She sadly passed away. She started the Facebook group Keep Calm and Make Compost, and we're growing sunflowers for her this year, and I'm growing these in her memory this year. So this is where the broad beans were. They're overwintering, so mine are gone now. Collecting the seed, saving the seed, and I've made use of this bed for some more lettuce and the beetroot. And as you can see, these are the sprouts, and they've even got flowers on them. So that'll be interesting to see how they continue. This will all be gone come the autumn. There's 1 bed there, and there's 1 bed there, so 2 beds will end up being 8, 12. There'll be 12 beds here, so the bigger ones will be at the top, and then we'll have some smaller ones at the front, similar to this, for square foot gardening, so I can keep sowing. That's what I struggle with. These are the celery that were in the trench, and again, something we have to keep doing all the while is refreshing the eggshells and coffee grounds to hopefully stop the slugs. This is the giant beetroot that I've sprayed with neem oil. Thank you very much for all the comments on that. If you haven't seen that video, maybe worth a look. It's up to yourselves, but if you've got that on your chard, beetroot, spinach, don't eat the leaves, because there's lots of little maggots in there. Giant carrot that died. It's now a lettuce bed. Every little space I try and reuse, and I'll probably get better at it as I go. Another carrot that's died, that should look like that, but I'm pleased with the overall size at the moment of the giant Swede. died back a bit, but now it's coming good again, and I'm even getting some shoots coming from the sides, which is what's supposed to happen. Now there, that is one carrot, but you can see that it's growing from each side, and again, that's exactly what we want to produce a massive carrot. And all I want to do is try and beat my personal best this year, so keeping an eye on those. One of the jobs I do need to do this month is to get some supports on this, or I'll be second and it'll all be flopped over. Jerusalem artichokes that seem to be doing well in the containers, and I do them in containers because I like small Jerusalem artichokes, and I like to harvest them for as long as I can. Again, this manure bin runoff, keep an eye on it, keep emptying it. It's a crying shame when it overflows. Some successional sowing of lettuce. This is where the garlic was, and I think I might as well get all these onions up now and see if I can figure out which ones went to seed. Possibly all of them. I know you say you're supposed to wait for them to flop over, and that flopped over completely, and I'll be checking for any white rot on these as well. Transplanted carrots. Now this is what I mean about putting the carrots in the shade. They don't dry out so quick, so I've got to figure that one out if I decide to change this area. Parsnips now getting plenty of growth on them. There is quite a few ladybirds about. Pleased with those, nice colour. And the first two rows had the liquid plant food in the bottom. The next two rows have just got the whatever was down there from the previous year. Trailing tomatoes, nothing showing yet. One or two have started to produce tomatoes. Of course, these are just trailing, so we don't have to cut anything out of those. And again, another one of the sunflowers. That's one of Bill and Val's harlequins. This is one of the beetroot, giant beetroot, that I keep tearing the leaves off. So just keep tearing them off. I think that's the only way I'm going to beat this. And they're still bulking out. Must remember to pick those up. These are my sarpos. There's a mixture here. That's what you have to look out for. Something similar to that. These are my sarpos I grew from the seed pods that I had sent me, and I'm hoping that they're blight resistant. I'm not treating for blight this year at all, even though the conditions are absolutely right for it. But keeping an eye on them. And my Marfonia, they are going to be harvested in about 7 days, so I'm hoping that they are actually going to survive it. But even if they don't, doesn't matter now. Weed as we go. Reasonably pleased with the carrots this year, even though these look a little bit different. I'm hoping that they're going to be okay. Just want to get a few stump carrots for a show maybe. If not, they make good eating. So that's one of the large red cabbages. In there, that's a greyhound. So if you know what a greyhound pointed cabbage looks like, then you can see the difference there. We'll be able to salvage some of that for our Sunday lunch today. There's your pointed cabbage, and then there's one of the green giants. They've just started to heart up now, but the leaves on these are absolutely massive. Again, religiously I'm checking these to make sure that there's no slug damage, and luckily enough, because I've used again the spent compost, I haven't had any damage. They do look really, really clean. These are supported by that just to keep the leaves off the ground, but I don't think I made it big enough. It seems to be constricting it a little bit, but never mind, it's my first year growing them. Now these are the leeks. That seed, I've never saved seed from onions, so I'm not sure what to expect other than little black seeds. But I did mention to Brian at Allotment Life that I got this one with the green mini leeks, by the look of it, growing out the top. Could you please put in the comments what I need to do with that and how long to leave it? I'm sure I can pop those on, but I haven't got a clue. These are the radish pods. Somebody said you can eat them. So, will I eat anything anybody else says eat? Of course I will. Excuse me. Now this is the salad garden. Now it's shaded well, not direct sunlight. Things still go to seed, but overall it's doing really well. There are the leeks. Keeping an eye out for the allium leaf miner on those, but hopefully they won't find them here. I haven't told them where I've planted them, so hopefully it'll be okay. Again, successional sowing. I am doing well. Oh no, look, the lilies are out. So some of the chard is doing quite well. Just been taking the leaves off. And just making sure that they haven't got any markings on. I'd hate my son to say, what are those marks on that chard you give me? I said, well, what did you do with it? He said, ate it. Protein, son, protein. That'll build your muscles up. If you can eat that many eggs, you can eat a few maggots. Go for it. Carrot in a bottle. Let's cover that up. I'm pleased with that, very pleased. We're in the polytunnel now, and there's lots and lots of new growth, so hopefully that will help all these grapes develop. And as we've said before, I'll be removing quite a few. Carrot heaven. I haven't measured this onion. I'm just hoping it'll keep growing, but the shaft seems good and it seems to be growing well. So during this month I'll be taking off anything that's not quite good. That looks okay. There's a few here that aren't the best quality. Struggling with the light again. Yeah, that shouldn't be there. Volunteer sunflower. The telepathy in the polytunnel has still not given me any cucumbers, so again the ones at home will let me have the cucumbers now, and we'll see what happens. Let's have a little look, see how these carrots are doing. Let's just take that one, it's out the middle. Oh, that's tough. So I think I can start harvesting some of those. Always chuck the tops on the floor, confuses the carrot fly. Mind you, these are nearly touching the floor. Oh, nearly tripped up one then. Here we go. Swing you back round. This is the long cucumber from Malvern, and we've got one growing there, and I think we've got a heavy one, but I probably won't let those set. I'll probably leave them till they get a bit higher, because the long cucumbers, they're massive, so 2 to 3 foot long. So throughout this month I'll be checking for the side shoots, just taking them out. I do try my best. Another sunflower. Or is it a sunflower? That might just be a weed actually. Yeah, I think it's just a weed that's got out of control. They do grow quite quickly. And I'll have to do something with this grapevine, either tie them in or I'll cut it back 2 to 3 buds, but I'd rather leave all these leaves growing. And I did see a big problem. I think I'm going to lose my polytunnel this year, guys. Carl from Nitrogen Fix Snow Dig did send me a cover. Very kind of him. Always appreciate a little bit of help in my growing space. Small repairs like that aren't too bad, but this one could cause me a big issue. I don't think a little smidgen of it isn't even on a joint. We'll see. We make good that one. Lots to do, very little time to do it in. This makes quite a decent storage area. Just have to remember not to step back and admire my work. A quick glance over at plot 1. You may get a bit more perspective of those giant cabbages as well. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now.